morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope you're all doing well. We're here to talk Delphi today. It's cold here, actually, at the moment. It's very chilly. However, talking about Delphi, and we are talking about the Bridge Guy video. What else? What else? Going to try and decipher some things. Somebody in my comments yesterday asked me to do an experiment with my iPhone 6 regarding the whisper or whispers that you can hear. So I've done that. I also want to play you something from Vinnie Politan from last night, or maybe the night before. It came out last night. They're usually like a day or two out. But anyway, it was with Barbara McDonald and a guy who is a podcaster. I don't know him at all, but he's done some clarification or some clearing up of the audio. In my opinion, it doesn't really make it sound any better. But I don't know. So we're going to play some of that, just a little bit of that, and talk through some stuff that has been talked about online as well. We're going to talk about, and yeah, that's it. That's all. That's what we're going to be doing. So I'm going to say a few hellos, and there's also some comments that I saw come in before I went live. But we got some super chats here. Thank you so much, Krista, for the $19.99. Well, let me put it on screen. Well, why won't you let me put it on screen? You weirdo thing. Anyway, Krista says, "Hi, Michelle. Any new estimates on the height of BG? Now that we know he isn't all squashed like the original pic that was released." I've never tried to estimate the height of BG. For me, there's too many variables. I'm not even going to try it. I know a bunch of people have. I know Gray Hughes will say that he's 5'4". Interestingly, same height as Richard Allen. Other people have given him a higher estimate, like 5'10". I don't know if there's any new ones, new ones though. But thank you for the $19.99. And we've also got Purple AJ has gifted 5 memberships, and Kibbley has gifted 5 memberships. Let's have a look, see if we can see who got these things. All right, so Kimberly's gifted Sin, Pandora, Sandra, Girl Next Door, and Donna. So welcome you guys. And Purple AJ, we've got Gazelle, Jamie or Jamie, Obv, Harry Fan, Celtic Vegan, and Belinda. So we've got 10 new members. If you've never been a member of this channel before, go and check out the members area. We got a bunch of stuff in the members area. So thank you, Kimberly and Purple AJ. You are the bee's knees. All right. So I'm gonna address some comments before we get going on this. So we got Rosemary. I believe that as well. I think she says that we go down rather than that be a gun. I can't hear gun mentioned at all. I can't hear a gun being racked at all. I think the noise that people are assuming is a gun is the crackling. It's just crackling, like the crackling of the ground underfoot, like the twigs and stuff. So there's no mention of a gun. Oh, sorry to hear that, CW, going to a neighbour's funeral. Oh dear, it's only consists of several alcoholics, so it might get rowdy. Oh dear. Hello, Linda and Tammy. Where's Bridge Guy in the Snapchat? Now, that has been discussed a lot. I've discussed it. Not a great deal, but I have discussed it. So I assume you mean the Snapchat of Abby that appears to have been taken at 2:07, which isn't on Libby's phone, which is odd. But anyhow, a lot of people think it's fake, like a fake picture. I'm not willing to go that far to say it's a fake picture. However, where is BG? It's a very good question. Where is BG? He's either hiding at the north end in the trees and then does a quick jog along the bridge to catch them up. If so, if he's been able to move that rapidly across the bridge, he's very familiar with it. Or is at the south side. And if he's at the south side, it means that he's past the girls, or he's seen the girls coming, past them, and then double back. So those are your two options. Wonder if Libby is talking to someone on her phone, and that is where the whisper comes from the beginning. No, she can't be. If she's recording a video, she can't also be talking on her phone at the same time. Because if you're talking on the phone, you can't record a video. You can't do it. So, no, that's not where the whispers have come from. So one of my little iPhone experiments that I've done today is me whispering. I walked about 30 feet away. I estimate that Abby's maybe 30 feet, if that, maybe closer. When you hear some kind of whisper that could be Abby. Now, a lot of people are saying that there's a third girl there. So there's Abby, Libby, and then someone else. And I don't know about that because I only see one shadow. Like before Abby makes it across the bridge, I only see one shadow. I mean, there's lots of shadows because there's trees, but I only see one moving shadow. So if there is someone there, why are they not casting a shadow? I don't think that person will be cognizant enough to hide their shadow. I don't think they could hide their shadow. So I'm open to the possibility that there's a third person there. However, my opinion is that it isn't, that there isn't a third girl there, simply because there's no shadow for another person being there. I've scoured that footage, scoured it, and I can't see another shadow. So that's where I'm at with it. Mainstream media want to tell you what you're hearing. Libby is talking to someone before Abby appears. You see, this is it. It is confusing because Libby does appear to be talking to someone before Abby gets off the bridge, and then she repeats what she's saying. But it could be that Libby is talking to her phone, like she's recording a video for a reason. This is what I've been saying. Libby's recording that video for a reason, and I don't believe it's because of BG. I mean, look, it's possible that she felt that this guy was behaving oddly and she just started recording. That's absolutely possible. But she doesn't appear to be scared. There's no nerves in her voice. I can't decipher any form of nerves or anything in her voice. I just can't. And Abby's smiling on the bridge. She's smiling. I don't think she's nervous. I think she's probably nervous of crossing the bridge because it's her first time crossing. But I don't think they're scared of BG. Maybe until he actually speaks to them. Thank you, Philosopher's Stone, for gifting 1 membership. And that has gone to Shauna M. Welcome, Shauna. And thank you, Philosopher's Stone. Thank you, thank you. What evidence is there that this photo was taken at 2:07? It's the person who it came from, who released it, found it on their Snapchat, and it's always been said that it was 2:07. But there was another picture that Libby took, like a black and white picture of just the bridge, and that was taken at 2:05. So and that was on Libby's phone. So it does make sense that that picture of Abby was taken at 2:07 because they're around the same place at the bridge. So I've never doubted the time, the 2:07 time. I've never doubted that. But it is strange that that wasn't on her phone. I don't know what reason there would be for that. I mean, if she's Snapchatting it out, it wouldn't necessarily save on her phone, but it should be in the Snapchat cache, and it wasn't. So I do think it's odd. I do think it's odd. Anyhow, Abby and Libby were, I think they were going that way. I think they were going that way anyway. Whether it was to only, like they were going to come back across the creek and then back up the hill the other side, so that Abby would only need to cross the bridge once because she was nervous, or whether they were meeting someone. That's something that's possible, very possible, that they were actually meeting someone. Or she could have been just talking to her phone, like making a video. You know, making a video of her experience. Like, I don't know. I don't know why they were taking that video. But one thing I can say is I do not think that they were scared of BG. Another possibility is that they were already with BG. That they'd spoken to him previously, and they'd arranged to go down the hill and across the creek and back to a certain person's property. and that does make sense in relation to what Reese Davis has said that Ron Logan told him. Didn't they think they were meeting with the model, Anthony Shots? Again, yeah, it's very odd. It's all very odd. It's all very odd. Good morning, Angie baby, and Jackie, Holly, Josephine. Good evening to you. You must be on the other side of the world. Buddy says, 3 girls on the bridge, one whispering to Libby, no stressing voices, no gun added. Oh, no gun added by Lieutenant Nobody. ISP. I walked to ice cream shop, oh dear. Again, I don't know that there's 3 girls. Not that I don't think it's possible. It's just I don't see another shadow. That's it. It's so open to interpretation that it's difficult to see. It's difficult to know what we're actually looking at. Let's put it that way. It's very difficult to know. Am I ISP? No. I live in a completely different country. I don't believe anything that ChatGPT says. I wouldn't take ChatGPT's word for anything. Hello, Cheryl. Truth and Transparency did a great live stream about the video on how the Snapchat photo was taken after the video, and it's possible it was taken by the Virgo. No, I'm not going to go that far. I don't think we've got any evidence for that. And also, it doesn't fit with Libby's phone data. You've got to factor in the facts we know, the facts that are actually now hardwired into the case. And Libby's phone data is now a hardwired fact. So any theory that you make has to factor in Libby's phone data, the data from a Apple Health app. And no, it can't have been taken after the video for that reason. It's the whisper. The whispering you hear. People are saying that Abby was too far away for Libby's phone to pick up Abby whispering. That's where the idea is coming from. Who else have we got in the house? Cherry Pops, Matilda, Paper Chaser, 5'6" to 5'8". I think at one time the FBI had a height estimate on their website at one time, and then they took it down. Now, either I've dreamt that because it's not there now. I've either dreamt it or something, but I'm sure, like way back, I'm talking way back, I'm sure the FBI had a high estimate for BG, and I think it was between 5'6" and 5'10". But I can't prove it. I didn't take any screenshots or anything, and it was such a long time ago. I may just be misremembering, but if anybody else remembers that it was on the FBI page, you know, Abby and Libby's page on the FBI, that, you know, this is the guy that they're looking for in connection with these murders, and I'm positive there was a high estimate for BG. And then it disappeared. Maybe it disappeared after the FBI were giving the marching orders. I don't know. Hello, Queen of Ravens. Michelle, great name. Hi, it should be doable. But it's... You see, the thing is, you can't do it off because you don't know exactly how far away BG is from Libby or from Libby's phone. You've got to consider the angles of how high the phone was, as well as the distance, and you can't do it. Now, I think Gray Hughes does it from pixels. So like the pixel horizontal and vertical, but I honestly don't think it's that accurate. But I'm not going to try it. Abby was 22 feet away when the three girls whispered. Abby was 22 feet away. How do you know she was 22 feet away? I mean, I'm not doubting you. I think she probably was around that. I would have said between 20 and 30 feet. That's why the little experiment that I'm going to show you in a minute, I went 30 feet. Yeah, they could spend $70,000 on a new podium, but not $10,000 on a height. I know. Exactly. All right, so welcome everybody. I'm gonna get going with this now. Okay, let's share the old screen here and do. So we'll do the experiment first, and then FBI stated 510 is in an earlier report. And thank you, Martha. Thank you. I'm sure I'm sure I remember it. Yeah, 5'10". I think there was an estimate. It was either between 5'6" and 5'10", or 5'8" and 5'10". But 5'10" was definitely mentioned. So we don't even know if the original video provided an accurate aspect ratio. Thank you. Yes, we don't have enough data. We don't have enough information at all to be able to do an accurate height estimate. Go back to your video of the steps and the Apple Health and the new released iPhone metadata timestamps. I don't know what that means, Giggle. Go back to your video of the steps and the Apple Health and the new released iPhone metadata timestamps. I don't know what that means. Because I've been doing the experiment of the steps with my iPhone 6, and I've never updated that phone since 2018. And I want to keep it that way so that it's in the same state that Libby's would have been in. Like, would have been the same version of the Apple Health app and the same version of iOS. Or if they were different, there would probably only have been one update. But it's this phone, you can see it on your screen right now. This phone, the iPhone 6S, that's what I used in 2018 when I first started YouTube. And I got a new phone a few months after, and I kept the iPhone 6 as a backup. And I still used to record on it sometimes, but it hasn't had any update in it or anything since 2018. Can you count the number of planks between them for a distance? Not really, no. It's not clear enough as you go. Like, some of the planks are broken. And then you don't even have inaccurate you don't even have an accurate look. I'll show you what I mean. What you don't know is how far away Libby is. Oh, you can't. This is an amended version. You don't know how far away Libby is. Like, is Libby standing on the bridge itself, or is she standing off the bridge? I think she is standing off the bridge, but how far away is she? So you can count the number of planks. You can try. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You see, I don't know whether those are 2 planks or just 1 plank. Like, it gets too blurry. But you don't know how far Libby's away. And you don't know how high she's holding the phone. There's not enough information. There's not enough information to get an accurate estimate of BG. Oh, the distance between her and BG. He's about 50 feet away. And I've done that from measuring that he's parallel here with the end of this final platform. So I've been able to estimate just roughly where he stood. Like, and then I placed Abby halfway between the platform and the end of the bridge, and it's approximately 50 feet, or maybe just under, between 40 and 50 feet, I would estimate he is between Abby and Bridge Guy. Can count the bolts. I'm not gonna even try it. I'm not. No. I mean, you try it, Pincho, if you want. the video was upside down on the phone. That wouldn't make any difference because once you've righted it, that doesn't make any difference. I think it's less than 50 feet. It's not that much less than 50 feet. I'm going to tell you. Like, this is how I did it. Hold on, I'll have to unshare and reshare because I'll put Google Earth on here. Just 1 second. All right. Can't share Google Earth as a tab, so I've got to share my whole screen. So this is 2017. So this is what it looked like back then. So you can see that's the last platform there. Okay. So that's the last platform. There's the end of the bridge there. So thank you, Mike, for the $10. Thank you so much. I do try to stick to facts. Doesn't mean to say that I don't speculate. Of course I do. But you've got to, if you speculate and theorize, you've got to incorporate into your theory the facts we do know. So if you go from the end of that last platform to the end of the bridge, it's about 70 feet. And I think Abby was maybe about there. Like, she was past the private drive. She was past the private drive. So I would put her maybe about there. Like 20 and 30 feet away from the end. So if we measure from there, that's 24 feet. And then if you measure from Abbey to BG, 47 feet. So about 50 feet. It's only rough estimate. Like, it's further than it looks. It is further than it looks. Okay. All right, let me show you my little experiment and why I did it. Okay, it's actually two experiments. Two little experiments. So I did one based on a viewer's question, and then I did one based on all of the chatter. And I videoed myself 30 feet away whispering. I'm not going to tell you what I whispered because I want you to hear it. So, are we ready? Ready for my little experiment? I know some of you like my experiments, but all right, let's play this. They said you can't have him. All right, guys, this is a viewer's request. Somebody has asked me. All right, so I'll read this. So this is from Little Green. Request, since you have an iPhone 6S, can you do an experiment where you plug headphone jack into the 6S while recording a video on it? In the same resolution as this video, so presumably BG video, but not required. Michael Ausbrook said that seconds after this video, the phone showed an aux in, not discussed at trial, and then 3 thumbnails created for the video. Thanks in advance. Source of Michael Ausbrook data, Andy Copser video on this video on her YouTube page. Okay, so I went away and I found that, I found the spot where Michael Ausbrook was chatting. So let me just play what Michael Ausbrook actually said. So this was about, I don't know, 3 or 4 days ago. And this is Andy Copser. I don't know this channel. I listened to this live stream. I thought it was very interesting. So I recommend her channel, even though I don't know anything about it. Certainly this live stream was interesting. Let's put it that way. So Michael Ausbrook was on, and Cara Wieneke. So both defence attorneys, both have done work for Richard Allen. Cara was one of she's an appellant attorney. She was one of the ones who wrote the stuff for the Indiana Supreme Court. You know, when Brad and Andy were disqualified by Judge Gull, well, Cara was one of the team that worked on it. So this is what Michael Ausbrook said. Now, look, I don't know what to do with this information. I don't understand if this is true, why it didn't come out at trial. So I am skeptical of this. And also, I will point out that the iPhone doesn't make 3 thumbnails for any video. It does 1. So if you record a video on your phone, and it doesn't matter what version of your phone you've got, if you've got an iPhone, record a video on your phone, and then it will save into your photos. And then when you go back to it, it will have compiled a little thumbnail so that you can see what the video is. All right. But it doesn't do 3. At least I've never seen. It doesn't give you a choice of 3 thumbnails for any video that you record on your phone. So that doesn't make sense. And also, I don't know if this happened. I don't understand why it wouldn't have come out at trial. Let's put it that way. So, all right. Let me play you what Michael said, so that at least you get the gist of why I did this experiment.
Well, one thing that needs to people are going to be trying to create a story, a narrative now out of this video, right?
Mm-hmm.
And from what they've actually seen. And one thing that needs to maybe be made part of that narrative is that 2 seconds after the video ends, there's the same kind of activity on the phone that showed headphones being plugged in at 5:45 and unplugged at 10:32. That is to say, there is data showing exactly the same kind of written information, showing that headphones were plugged in 2 seconds after the video ended and unplugged 5.5 minutes later. What that means, I don't know, but
okay.
But I think that has to be part of the story of what this is.
So that's new news.
Video means.
And that's new. Where is that? Okay. How do we talk about this? Because I'm like Andy here. I don't know what to do with this information. I don't know whether to believe it. I don't know what to do with this information. Why didn't it come out at trial? I think that that's a twist. We haven't heard that. That didn't come out at trial, right?
No.
Okay. So
no, it came out of some stuff that I got to see as part of getting the motion to correct error done and stuff.
Okay. So let me just make sure I understand. So the video. So let me just do this again then, because now I've got to look at this video again.
I did think it was weird how abruptly it ended, and so I wondered if something came after it, if something happened after it, because she would videotape and then stop videotaping. And I thought, well, maybe because she's trying to go down the hill and not fall, I suppose.
Okay, so let's look at this.
Yeah,
let's look at it one more time. And I agree with Cara that the video ended like really abruptly. I think we can all appreciate that it ended as soon as BG had said down the hill, the video stopped, which is another reason why, if Libby was nervous of BG, she'd have kept the video going, surely. You wouldn't like fumble about turning the video off. You know, once he's actually interacted with them, why would you turn it off? Like, if she was like recording this because he's a potential perp, why should she turn it off when he talks to him? It doesn't make sense. Put phone in pocket to have hands free. Yeah, okay, but that wouldn't turn the video off. I mean, she may have pressed some, like she may have just moved her hand and the video like went off because she pressed something. Like if you press, I think it's the power, if you press the power button, I think it turns the video off. So maybe she didn't mean to turn the video off, but she moved her hand and it like accidentally turned the video off. Or she put the phone in her pocket and accidentally turned the video off. That's absolutely possible. I bet she accidentally hit the lock screen, which would have turned it off. Yes. Yes. So if you lock the screen or you press the power button, it will turn the video off. So it could be that she didn't intend to turn the video off. That was accidental. Yeah, maybe she got flustered. The girls could have planned to film some, but being flustered causes all kinds of tech issues. Well, being flustered will mean that you fumble, and if she's just holding the phone, she's not got it on like a little handheld tripod or anything. It's very easy to press something, especially the iPhone 6, because the iPhone 6 is still one of the phones that has the pressy button at the bottom. Like the newer phones don't have that. So an iPhone 6, it will be easier to accidentally turn your recording off than it is now. Possibly though, she only ever meant to jump then. Record their bridge adventure. Yeah. Yeah. Canoni's baloney. That's brilliant. Jenzia, thank you for the $4.99. Don't phones at age stop recording automatically. Stop recording after so many seconds. I think she started filming accidentally. No, they don't just stop recording unless your phone's full. Like if the storage is full, it will stop recording. But an iPhone 6S, I could record for 2 hours, and it wouldn't turn off. There's no time that it turns off. It would only turn off if the storage was full, or if she pressed something that would turn it off. And she could have done that accidentally. Webs of Deceit Untangled, thank you for the $2. Thank you so much. She was using Snapchat. You have to hold it down to record. Was she using Snapchat to record that video, though? I know she was using Snapchat to take photos. Snapchat does. There's a time limit on a Snapchat video. Okay. Do we know it was Snapchat? Not as far as I know. I know the photos she took, she uploaded those to Snapchat. But I don't know that she was recording a video on Snapchat. She was not using Snapchat to record that video. I didn't think she was. I think she was just recording. So it would be recording straight to the phone. And that wouldn't give you a time limit, like I said, unless your storage was full. Incoming call would stop recording. It would, yes, it would. But we don't know that she had an incoming call. We don't know if she had an incoming call. Okay.
I want to think about it as we watch it, because I have to see this and think about that while we're doing it. So, okay.
So just for anybody who says there's no volume, she's playing this with no volume. So there's no volume. That's not me that's turned the volume off, just to let you know.
Okay.
You said how many minutes, Michael, or seconds between these two actions or whatever?
Would putting headphones in the jack stop the video? Well, that's a nice segue back to my little experiment, because I assumed that that was what this person, Little Green, was getting at. That maybe if you plug headphones into an iPhone 6S while it's recording a video, would it automatically stop the video? That's exactly what I was thinking. So let's play the experiment, shall we? Yeah. Record a video on my iPhone 6S, which is this. Can you see it? And you don't need to comment about how badly bitten my fingers are. I enjoy biting my fingers. Leave me alone. Just saying. Everybody always comments about my fingers. If I ever show my hands in a video, I'll get at least 5 comments about my fingers. I bite my fingers because I enjoy biting my fingers. Yes, occasionally I make them sore, but there's that. It's all good stuff. So this is in relation to something that Michael Ausbrook said on a panel. Yes, I'm getting interfered with. All right, so I've got to set this video record. And yes, I do live near a train line, so, and I also live on a flight path. So your planes going over, trains. It's like Piccadilly Station, honestly. Then, so you can see there. I'm gonna press record. So that's now recording a video. Okay, and I've got to plug headphones into the headphone jack. I had to turn my house upside down to find some old-fashioned headphones. That's why they're full of... I knew I had some. I just had no idea where like some old-fashioned headphones were. I mean, come on. I found a pair though. Just hello, Noodle. You're a good boy. You're a good boy. All right. Noodle. Noodle's a good boy. Yes, Noodle's a good boy. All right. Get down. Come on. All right. We're still recording. There's the headphone jack right there. So I'm going to hold the phone like Libby was holding it. Headphones in. Take them out. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. It just carries on recording. And this is recording in 1080p. So I don't know what the deal is with this. So I don't know what the commenter was getting at. I assume they may have been thinking, if Libby put headphones in, would it stop the video? And then you'd have to restart it. But no, Apparently, no. Apparently, no. So, all right, we're on to the next experiment. So look, I don't know whether Libby plugged headphones in and then took them out 5.5 minutes later. I don't understand why that wouldn't have come up at trial. So I don't know what to do with that information. I'm going to store it in my little shoebox in my brain. You know, where it might be relevant later on, but I'm not going to use that information as it stands. I would need further clarification. I would need to know why it didn't come up at trial, and I would need to know what data Michael Ausbrook's actually looking at before I'm going to go any further with it. Well, I did take them out. Cows. Look, watch. So I put them in, took them out, and put them back in again, and the video just carried on recording. No, watch. Take them out. Still recording. Nothing happens. Put it back in. Nothing happens. It just carries on recording. And this is recording in 1080p. So I don't know what the deal is with this. All right, so my next experiment. All right. So my shed is approximately 30 feet away from where I'm sitting right now. Yes, I did measure it. It's about 30 feet. It's about 30.1 feet from that chair to my shed. All right. So I didn't record me measuring because I had to use it was annoying. So I didn't record that part. But I stood next to my shed for a reason, because I thought Abby's approximately 30 feet, if not a little bit closer. So I'm going to stand 30 feet away. Now, for this part, I couldn't use my iPhone 6S because for some reason it will record a video, but it won't let me export it onto any other device. Like the AirDrop, for some reason, doesn't work. And there's no reason why it shouldn't work. It just doesn't work. So I did record this part on my iPhone 12. However, the camera, the microphone on an iPhone 6S versus an iPhone 12, there's not a great deal of difference, honestly. So just to let you know that I recorded this next bit on my iPhone 12. And you're gonna have to guess what I'm saying from 30 feet away. And for any lip readers in the house, well, I made sure that I zoomed in so my mouth wasn't in the shot. So you have to use your ears only for this part. Experiment. And this is me rather than a viewer. I'm going to go over there and stand by my shed. And I'm going to whisper. Now, I would do it with the iPhone 6S. But I can't export videos from this. I don't know why. Like, the AirDrop won't work anymore. I don't know why. All right, so this is an iPhone 12, what I'm recording on. I'm going to go over there and whisper, and then you're going to tell me what I say. Okay? So we're going to set the phone down. So I'm reckoning that that's about the same distance where Abby was. Okay. So I do think Abby was a bit closer than 30 feet, but it's just a rough estimate. Okay, so all right, you're going to tell me what I say. And yes, I do have a very attractive, oversized hoodie that I wear all the time. So there's that. All right, so I tried to, I used a voice that I thought Abby would have used. So like a quiet, very quiet voice, like a, like that kind of voice. That kind of voice. That's what I used. Is it there? Is it right there? Is he still there? All right, what did I say? What did I say? Is he still there? Is it right there? Is he still there? Is he still there? Listen again. I actually say 3 different things. So I'll stop them after each thing. Can't hear anything. If you didn't have dogs, you would be a crazy cat lady. Yeah, no more cats. No more cats, thank you. Can hear it, not sure exactly what you said. Can't hear a thing. First one, I couldn't hear anything. Is he still there? Is he behind me? Is he right there? Is he still there? Couldn't make it out. All right, listen again. That's where Abby was. So I said, is he there? At the point where Noodle jumped up, I said, is he there? Is he right there? Is he right there? Is he still there? Is he still there? So is he there? Is he right there? And then is he still there? So one more time. What I say. Okay. So we're going to set the phone down. So I'm reckoning that that's about the same distance where Abby was. And we do have wind interference as well. It was very windy sitting there. So we do have some wind interference. I wanted to do it outside so that, you know, you're not going to say, oh, well, it was really quiet where you were and we heard it because it was really quiet. Well, it's not really quiet. This is wind noise. we didn't at least have any trains going by. If there was a train going by at the same time, I'd have just done it again. But anyway. Is he there? That's is he there? Am I whispering or talking low? And I'm talking. I'm like trying to like do it like this. Is he there? Is he there? No, is he there? Is he there? So it was like a not a is he there? That kind of is he there? It wasn't that kind of whisper. It was more of a with a little bit of it was whispering, but with a little bit of throat as well. So is he there? Is he there? Is he there? Small voice, yeah. A small voice. Because I don't think, if it was Abby saying it, I don't think she was like literally whispering. I think she was just, it was just a small voice. Is he right there? Is he still there? Indoor voice. My indoor voice is like booming. It's difficult for me to talk quietly. Under a breath, so to speak. Yeah, kind of like that. So not like a literal whisper where you can't hear it unless unless they put their mouth right next to your ear. Not that kind of whisper. But it was just like I tried to use like a small voice. Like she maybe was trying to communicate to Libby, but not so that he would hear. Hushed tone, yeah, that's a good way to describe it. She doesn't want him to hear. Yeah. She doesn't want him to hear it, but she thinks that Libby's close enough for her to hear it. And I don't know that Libby was, because she just carried on talking. All right, so we're going to play. I'm going to play what we actually hear. Oh, actually, I'll use the other one. I'll use the other one, because this one it's like slowed down and stuff. So I'll use. I've got like loads of different edits now of this. So I will use this one. All right. So where does the whisper come in? I don't know why this is dark. It's not really dark. See, there's a voice there. I'll just play it all. So there's a kind of a noise right at the beginning. 8 seconds. There's kind of a noise right at the beginning. You see that was a whisper. And when like in another version, I've got I've zoomed right into Abby's face, and she is actually moving her mouth. Can't hear or see the video. Of course you can't, because I didn't share it with you. That's why. Dear God. All right, we'll do it again. So it's 8 seconds. So that at 8 seconds, 7 seconds, there's I think she says, is he there? You can do now. You can see it now. Is he still behind me? You see, everybody hears something different. But it is Abby talking because she's moving her mouth. This is the original, so you can't actually see her mouth. But when you go to here, now this is 10% speed, so you can't actually hear what she says. But if you're like I've got her face closer here. Watch. You'll have to wait because it's got 10%. So watch her now. She is actually going to speak. She is speaking. She is speaking. And I don't know whether we're all just assuming that she's talking about Bridge Guy. She could be saying, I'm nearly there. Oh, you couldn't see it or hear it again. Okay. Because I don't bother sharing things with you. I'm so sorry. I'm so rubbish. All right. Watch. Her voice, she is moving her lips at the same time that voice happens. So I do think it is Abby speaking. I do think it is Abby speaking. However, we may all be assuming that she's saying, is he there? Is he behind there? Is he right there? Actually, what she could be saying is, I'm nearly there. Because let's put it in context. Let's put it in context that she's concentrating on what's in front of her. That's why she's looking down. She's not looking behind her. If she was nervous about somebody walking up behind her, I don't care if you were trying to be cool. I don't care if you were trying to pretend you weren't, aware of them. You would instinctively, absolutely instinctively look behind yourself at least once. At least once. And she didn't. Not at all. Not one bit. And when she's speaking, she's smiling. She is smiling. Like this is a screenshot I took from about that part. As she was talking. That's not a fearful face to me. And then this one from the same place. She's smiling. She's smiling. She's looking directly at Libby and she's smiling. That is not somebody who is fearful. I'm sorry, it isn't. For all those who are trying to spin that these girls were terrified. No, they weren't. No, they weren't. She's smiling. And I think we're all assuming that she's whispering or she's scared when she absolutely isn't. And if there is any nerves about her, it's because she's walking on this bridge that she's never gone across before. She's never gone across this bridge before. So she's looking down. She's looking at her feet. She's looking where she's treading. She's walking very consciously. That's not a smile. What? You don't think this is a smile? That's a smile. I'm sorry, that's a smile. This screenshot is from like a second before. That's when she's talking. So she's got her mouth open. That's when she's talking. This is straight after that. She's smiling. She's smiling. She's walking the bridge. The whole point is to be nervous, a little scared and exhilarated. Yeah. Yeah. That's not a regular smile. Okay. All right. Maybe, as I said, maybe she's feeling nervous because she's walking the bridge for the first time. So she's consciously watching her footing. She's watching her footing. What she isn't doing is looking behind her. They walk that bridge all the time. Libby had walked it quite a few times, but Abby had never been over. She'd never walked the bridge before. She'd never walked the bridge before. So she was nervous. And that's why I think Libby persuaded her to go over and said, you only have to do it once, because when we come back, we'll go down the hill at the other side, we'll walk across the creek, and then we'll go back that way. I think they'd already planned to go down that hill. And that's why Libby was talking about the hill before Abby even got to the end of the bridge. That's what I think. And that kind of fits with Abby being nervous, being that, she's nervous. She's looking down. She's nervous about the bridge. She's not nervous about Bridge Guy. Not one time does she look behind her. I don't think they were concerned about him at all until he actually spoke to them. Yeah, if you slow it down, you can. You can. Hold on, where's my slowed down version? Here it is. If you watch her stepping, she's doing it really, really cautiously. Look at her. And I know this is like only 10% speed, but she's very purposefully. She's walking really gingerly, really consciously, and she's looking down the whole time. She's not concerned about the guy behind her. And why should she be? He's just another guy. He's just a guy walking the bridge. That's what she thinks. That's where she smiles. He's walking faster than she is.
See, this is the path that we go down.
So Libby then says, this is the path that we go down. Not that be a gun. She said, this is the path that we go down.
There's no path going there, so we have to go down here.
There's no path going there, so we have to go down here. All right, I'm going to listen to the 7-second bit again. I think she says, is he there? But she could just as easily be saying either nearly there or almost there. There's no fear in Libby's voice whatsoever, none. And then, yeah, I think she said, I did it at the end. right at the end. She might actually be saying easy. Like there's an S in there. Easy. She says easy. Listen again. She says easy. Easy. The word is easy. Listen. Oh, you can't see it. Sorry, guys. I'm so rubbish at this. Watch. Listen. Listen. She says easy. 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 It's easy. No, it's easy. I've just convinced myself. It's just one word. It's easy. It's not easy there. It's easy. It's easy. It's easy. Listen. Listen. Easy. It's easy. He's still here. Is he coming? Listen, I think you're going to hear. It's like when somebody puts subtitles up, and you hear something different. You convince yourself that what you're hearing isn't what you're really hearing. You still can't only hear is he right there. I don't think there's enough words for is he right there. Is he there? It's possible. Like just saying it really quick. Is he there? But I think she says easy. Like I think it's just one word. Easy. 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 It's easy. I don't know. And then when she gets off the bridge, I think she jumps off, and I think she makes some kind of utterance about finishing the bridge. It's easy. It could be. That be a gun is never said. That be a gun is never said. I honestly don't think they are that. They are even noticing that BG's there. And if they are aware of him, they're not scared of him. If they are aware, I mean, they obviously Libby is aware he's there because she's filming. Like she'll be able to see him, but they're not concerned. Now, is that because they've spoken previously? Is that because they recognize him? Is it because they're even walking with him? You know, they've just gone on ahead. All of those things are possible.
All right.
This
is the path. See, this is the path that we go down.
I still can't quite get what she says though.
There's no path going there, so we have to go down here. Bye.
It's Libby that says that we go down. Someone says that we go down. Yeah, it's Libby. She says, this is the path that we go down. This is the path that we go down. Listen. Oh, I'm not gone far enough.
That we go down.
All right.
Path. That we go down.
That we go down. Now, some people are saying that that's the point where she says that'd be a gun. She doesn't. She says, this is the path that we go down.
See, this is the path that we go down.
See, this is the path that we go down.
There's no path going there, so we have to go down here.
And Abby's going straight on ahead. And she says, there's no path there. We've got to go down here. Why doesn't Abby say anything? Well, she did speak as she was going by. She did speak as she was going by. Now, there is a path up ahead, but it takes you to the two houses. And it's private property. So if you're going to go down the hill, then you have to go down to the private drive, which is about 10, 12 foot down. And you can see it. You can see it at the end here. When she moves the camera there. So that is about maybe 12 foot. And she says, this is the path we go down. This is the path we go down. So she's looking down here. This is the path we go down. And she says, there's no path there. Now, because Abby's walked on, like she's jumped off the bridge and she's walked on ahead. But if they're going to go down the hill and then back across the creek, they have to go this way. So it's all open to interpretation. And again, we all think something different. And again, I'll say it again, I'm not really sure what we're looking at. But from my opinion, they're not scared of BG. I think that's my takeaway. Whatever it is that Abby says, I don't think they're scared of BG. I think that's the take home. Anyway, discuss Vinnie Politan. So last night, Vinnie talked all about the video. Libby German's last video. So I'm going to play this section here. What is being said in the video? So we got Vinnie Politan's viewpoint here, and he's got Barbara McDonald on, and then he's got some guy on who's a podcaster. Okay, so I'm going to play it from here. I'm not going to, stop it and comment on it and stuff, but it's interesting to listen to what Court TV is saying about this.
Take a listen and try to figure out what is being said in this video. And we've got a lot of help tonight. Joining me, Court TV senior producer who's covered this case from the beginning and was in the courtroom for the trial, Barbara McDonald. And also joining us, the host of the True Crime Podcast. You got to check it out. Deviant, Dan Semitovich is with us as well. Thank you both. First, Barbara, seeing that video and listening to that video, and without getting into the words of it, but just like 0 to 10, when you listen to it, as we just played it, how clear is it to you, someone who has covered this case and knows everything about this case from the beginning?
It's remarkably clearer than what was released by law enforcement, which surprised me. There are words spoken in this clip that I cannot make out. Maybe I have bad hearing, but I cannot make it out. But there are parts that are much clearer and sharper, including the video, than what we were led to believe. We'd always been told it was a very low quality video that was very grainy and they couldn't do much to clean it up, but it doesn't appear that way here.
No, it's shockingly clear, the video. The audio, on the other hand, I think needs a little bit of help. And Dan, we received some of that enhanced audio from you. So why don't you explain to us sort of the process? So you get this video with this audio. What do you do to try to enhance it, to clear it up so it's easier to understand what's being said?
Sure, Vinnie. Yeah, thanks for having me. The first thing I did was, as soon as this came out, I took the audio from the video and I loaded it into the audio editing software that I use to make podcasts. And part of that is I have a lot of tools to make things sound clean, to take out noise, to take out clutter, to make sounds clearer, to make things more audible. So I use pretty much every tool that I have in my toolbox. And let's make no mistake, this is very tough audio quality-wise. So I boosted what I could boost. I dropped what I could drop to make it as listenable as possible. And I tried to clarify what is clarifiable. I think I got some of it, but I think, like a lot of things when it comes to Delphi, a lot of it's going to be a Rorschach test. What do you think you hear? Because a lot of it's not clear still.
So you answered my next question, which was how clear from your perspective is it now with the enhancement? So let's do this. For all the folks who are watching, and for me and for us, let's take a look and a listen with Dan's enhanced video, which I've heard, and I think it's pretty amazing what you've done. But let's take a very, very close listen.
See, this is the path that we are. There's no path going there, so we have to go down here.
Yeah, drop what you can drop, boost what you can boost, words to live by. I agree. I agree.
Okay, Dan, as you're going...
I honestly don't think it makes it any better. I don't think it makes it any better. It makes it louder, but it makes the background louder. So I can do that. Like,
going through this process, obviously you're listening to it over and over and over and over again.
yeah, the extra noise seems worse. Yeah, it does.
Over the course of hours, I'm sure.
Yes.
From your perspective, what do you hear? And is there anything that you're like, I'm not quite sure?
Yeah. So what I first hear around 7 seconds into the video, I hear some whispering, and I'm pretty sure that it's Abby. It's Abby as she's approaching Libby on the bridge. And what it sounds to me like some sort of variation of a question: is he running, or is he near? Something like that. It's is he is what I'm hearing. And then shortly after that, you hear not words, but sort of the how Abby sounds. She's either out of breath or agitated, fearful. It depends on how you interpret it.
I don't think so. I really don't think so.
And then as she's...
No, there's no one at the north end of the bridge. Bully graphics. There's no one at the north end of the bridge. It's like a bollard. We've had this conversation loads. But there is a bollard at the north end. It's not a person. It absolutely is not a person. Why would Abby mention a gun when she never looked behind her? There's no mention of a gun at all. None. Yeah, they're excitable. Like, Libby is just totally calm, and Abby is excitable. She's just crossed the bridge for the first time. There's no mention of a gun at all. There's no racking of a gun or cocking of a gun. There's nothing. There's no gun sound at all. What you're hearing is the cracking twigs and the rocks that you can hear all the way throughout.
Walking by Libby in the video, it sounds like she's saying something like, he's definitely running, or something like that. That's how I hear it. Then we have Libby talking about the path itself. And I'm sure we'll get into that and why that is significant, that she's talking about how to get down the path. But another thing that is very interesting is what I don't hear. The one thing the prosecution...
Who's running by in a red jacket? No one's running by in a red jacket. She's got like a dark pink top on that's kind of like flowing. So if you look at it on this one, not this one, this one, this one, this one. Look at it on this one. When she runs by, there's the top and there's the jacket. So that's going by.
Path. That would be good on.
There. She's still got the jacket on. There. So no changes of clothes. I know some people are saying that she changed her clothes. No, she didn't.
Said was the word gun was said, and there was a sound of a gun racking. I listened over, and I listened over, and I listened over, as you mentioned. I did not hear that. The closest thing I have heard to a gun potentially racking is after the word guys is said by Bridge Guy, and there's a possible mechanical sound there, but it could just be branches or gravel.
Right, and think
it is just branches and gravel. Listen. Like it's crackling and, you know, things breaking and stuff all the way through.
There's no path going there, so we have to go down here.
Like that click is what people think is the gun, but it's not. It's just the sound of the whatever's under their feet.
Think about the way Dan is listening to this, right? You've got the super expensive headphones on. You've got all this high-tech equipment. I mean, folks at home are listening on their television. Right now, I'm just listening in this little earpiece. It's a slightly different experience. Here's what I want to put up on the screen. I'm gonna play it again with the court TV analysis, right? So the team putting together the show, listening to it, and coming to some consensus on what we believe we hear, right? So let's watch that, and you'll see the words that we believe are being spoken up on the screen.
See, this is the path that we are on. There's no path going there, so we have to go down here.
All right, Barbara, let me ask you the one part to me that...
So they don't know what Abby says when she passes by. I heard she's almost there. We're all going to hear something slightly different. We're all hearing something slightly different. And at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, honestly. Like, I'm taking it overall, like the context of it. And the overall context to me is that they're not concerned about BG. They're not. They could have run. They literally, if they were concerned about a guy and he was, you know, gaining on Abby, wouldn't Libby say something like, hurry up? Wouldn't she say, like, hurry up, he's coming, or hurry up, he's gaining on you, or hurry up, we need to go? Something. She would have said something. Libby could see everything unfolding right in front of her. If she was that worried, she'd have told Abby to hurry up. And they'd have got out of there. Because from the top of that bridge, you can see, from where they are stood there, you can see two houses. You could, I mean, the houses aren't really close, but they could have made a run for it. And there's the Weber house, and then there's the one on the right-hand side. I can't remember who lives there, but there's 2 houses. And why wouldn't they have just made a run for it? Like, even before he spoke to him, even before he said, guys, like, if they were nervous of him, they'd have gone out there. They were just both standing there. They wouldn't have been just standing there if they were scared of him. They'd have made a run for it. So the question is, if they were that scared, why didn't they run? And no, I don't believe they were frozen in fear. There's no fear in Libby's voice whatsoever. And she's the one who's seen it. She's the one looking directly at BG. She stood right there, and she's not making Abby hurry up. She's not making, she's not. There's nothing. There's no concern. So that's the take home. So I don't think it really matters what Abby says. The overall context is that they're not scared of BG. And then you've got to answer the question, why are they not scared of BG? Is it because they know him? Is it because they previously spoken to him? Or is it because he's just a guy walking on the bridge? All of those things could be possible.
We couldn't come to any consensus on is when she's running by and something is said. To me, that is probably extremely important, but I don't hear. Do you hear anything there, Barbara?
I heard it differently in Dan's version of the audio tonight. And I think I agree with the team that she does first say something to the effect of, is he right there? And then I think she says, oh my God, he is right there. Because she...
See, I don't hear that at all. Oh, thank you, Fairy Goodness, for being a member for 26 months. Thank you so much. No, I don't hear anything to do with the gun, but I also don't hear her say, oh my God. I don't at all.
He's walking on the bridge, which we all know requires your focus.
I think what happens is you have an idea because you know what's about to unfold. Like, we've got the benefit of this really horrendous hindsight that soon after, I mean, literally seconds after this is filmed, these girls get abducted. Whether they're murdered straight away, whether they're taken away from the scene, whether one's murdered and the other's taken away. Shortly after, they are abducted. And we know that. So you're trying to put, a context behind this video, knowing exactly what's about to happen. But Abby and Libby had no idea what was going to happen, obviously. And they hadn't, certainly Libby had no concern, no fear in her voice, nothing. And if you were scared, but trying to stay calm, there's no way that your voice would have stayed that calm. There's no way. There's no way. No way. And she would at least have said, hurry up. She doesn't even, if Abby's saying these things like, is he right there? Or, oh my God, he's right there. All those things, wouldn't Libby have just said, hurry up? Libby doesn't even acknowledge that those comments, if indeed that's what was said. Libby doesn't acknowledge those comments at all. She's just talking about the path that they're going to go down. So, and I think you will hear what you want to hear. You will hear what you need to hear to finish off the version of your story. So if you believe that BG is Rick Allen, and Rick Allen is going to essay them, and then he gets scared by the van, and then he takes them across the creek and slits their throat, well, you're going to read into it that there is a gun, that you hear a gun, that Libby says that be a gun, and that you know that they're scared. That's what you're going to read into. If you believe that BG is perhaps someone known to them, someone who's already spoken to them, someone that they're very much aware of and they've got no concern over, then you're not going to read anything like that into it. You're not. We hear what sounds like a stick shifting vehicle. They met someone. Well, what we know is that there was no vehicles that passed by, like based on the camera at the Sandifer's house. We know that no vehicles passed by between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. So there is the sound of a vehicle in the background, but I think it's coming from County Road North. I don't think it's coming from that side of the bridge. I'm a huge Def Leppard fan, and every time I hear Rick Allen, I think of my band. Oh, yeah, the drummer. Yeah, he was Rick Allen, wasn't he? Yeah. I used to like Def Leppard as well.
And attention, especially for Abby, who hadn't crossed it before that we know of. Libby was a little bit more familiar with walking on that bridge. Abby appears in the still photo as well as the video to be really looking down, paying attention to where she's putting her feet. And that's how I hear it.
Okay, Dan, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play the...
I agree with her assessment there, that she's looking down. She's looking down. She's aware of the bridge. She's not concerned about BG. She's concerned about where she's putting her feet. A third person being there is possible. However, I only see two shadows. Well, one shadow. And then once Abby turns up, there's two shadows. I don't see a third shadow. That's my problem with that theory. That there isn't another shadow. All right, so I'm going to move on a little bit here. So they talk about... Oh, let's play this a little bit here. This is interesting.
Is with us as well. I got it. It's a challenge, but I got it.
You did.
And the True Crime Podcast is Deviant, by the way, folks. Okay, so I want to take a look at the video of the disturbed ground, if we can take a look at that. And Barbara, what are your thoughts here about what we're seeing in that part of the video where the ground is disturbed?
Well, since Libby is largely recording the ground, we do get a very good shot of this area that she is saying we need to go down here to go down the hill. And you can see that the ground is already disturbed. Some of the rocks are moved. Some of the dirt is exposed. And this was something that the investigators pointed out as they found this after the discovery of the bodies. When they went back up to the bridge and started doing their search, they saw this area and surmised that this was how they got down the hill as well. I also remember talking to Cody Patty, who was...
Yeah, but what they said was that that disturbed ground was the girls being abducted. But that disturbed ground was already there before the girls were abducted. So that ground could have been disturbed weeks previous, like someone going down the hill weeks previous. Maybe kids go down that hill all the time, you know, and you may go down on, you know, you go down on your butt sometimes if it's like pretty steep. And that disturbed ground is already there. So that's nothing to do with the abduction. It doesn't matter what it's come from. It's nothing to do with the abduction. Now, I don't think the prosecution made a great deal of it in the trial. Then again, I wasn't there. But it's, yeah, it's already disturbed ground. That's not Abby and Libby struggling or being pulled down or anything like that. That ground is already disturbed. Thank you, Dina or Dena, for being a member for 32 months. That's huge. At the end of the day, this isn't enough to convict. Exactly. You'd have been going down the hill. Oh, yeah. That's not a steep hill. It's not a... Like, look. I'll have to stop sharing again to show you Google Earth. It's so annoying that I can't play Google Earth with all my things in it, you know, with all my pins in it, without sharing my entire screen. Oh, and I've turned it off. Great. Okay. All right. Let's find a bit. All right. Flying to Indiana. All right. We'll change it back to 2017. No, that's the wrong one. Go away. (2018, 2014, 2017). There we go. All right. So from where they're standing, so this is the edge of the bridge right here. So they're standing here. So to go down this hill, all right, onto the private drive. This is a private drive. Watch the elevation change. So it says elev there, right at the bottom. Can you see it on your screen? Let me just see. Yeah, you can. Just about. Just about. So the actual numbers doesn't matter. It's how much it changes. So if I put my cursor there, it's 181 meters. So it's measured in meters. You go down to the private drive, down the hill. Hold on. You go down this hill here to the private drive. You go down to 178. So it basically drops 3 meters, which is about 10 feet, 10, 11 feet. So that's all it is. And then there is another hill. So from the private drive down to the flat part, see, can you see it's 2 hills? So you've got this little hill, about 10 feet from where the girls were, down to the private drive, and then you've got a bigger drop now. So go back to the private drive. It's about there. And then go down to the bottom. You're going down about maybe about 8 meters, 7, 8 meters. So 179 to where it flattens out at about 171, 170. So about 8 meters. So about 30 feet. Hold on, let me measure it. Eight meters in feet. 26 feet. I think it's a little bit more than that, but so you've essentially got 2 hills to go down. So you've got the 10-foot drop to the private drive, and then you've got another 20 or 30 feet to the flat plane. So you've got this flat bit where these woods are, and it's basically flat. I mean, it goes down a bit, but this is like, it's like a little mini floodplain. So all this is flat, just like wooded. And then you've got this shallow part of the creek here, and then you've got this other flat bit, and that's the area where the crime scene was. While we're in Google Earth, let me show you where the camera was. So the camera is here. So this is the camera at the Sandifer's house, which caught Brad Webber's van. So the camera points out this way and catches Brad Webber's van at 2:44, passing these little houses here. There's like a row of buildings, and the van is going by there. And then goes round here under the bridge and then up to the Webber property. But one thing the defence did say is that they checked this camera for vehicles passing between 2 and 4 p.m. And as I understand it, there was no other vehicles that passed by between 2 and 4 p.m. So the sound of a vehicle that you can hear at like right at the beginning of the video, it could be a vehicle like revving up one of these houses, or it could be from County Road North here. Could be from up here. As I would imagine that sound travels pretty well. And those kind of low tones that you're hearing would travel quite far, I would think. Yeah, you do. You hear a vehicle. But it's not. It doesn't sound like it's really close. It sounds. Where were we? It sounds like right at the beginning. Just listen to this. There's a car going by. So it's that low rumbling tone that some vehicles have. I think it's on County Road North. But I mean, who knows? But you do hear a vehicle, you do. Okay.
His uncle, and he was part of the search party on the 13th looking for the girls, and he noticed that area as well and said that to him it looked like somebody had slid down the hill on their butt. And it's interesting that it's already disturbed before Abby and Libby go down there. So why is it already disturbed? Had somebody already traveled down there that day? Had the bridge guy come up that way? One theory is he was already on the south end of the bridge, and that's how he made his approach. That's not the theory that fits the Richard Allen story, but that is a theory people have had for many years, that he came up from the south side, saw the girls on the bridge, and then circled back, and that's when they got concerned and recorded that video.
And that could be very possible, that the person actually was on the south side, passed them, maybe spoke to him, and then circle back. And that would be why there's no person in the background at 207. And that's why no one saw him. Yeah. Or it could be Ron Logan, who came from his property, and that's why no one saw him.
How about from your perspective, Dan, in that part of the video?
Yeah, I agree with Barb. Look, before Richard Allen was arrested, before we knew all the things that we know now, Barb and I did a podcast called Down the Hill. And in the very last episode of it, sort of laid out our theory of what happened. And there's two very key pieces of information timing-wise that you need to keep in mind. Libby took a snapshot of Abby on the bridge at 2:07 p.m. that afternoon. At 2:13 is when the encounter with the man on the bridge happened. Now, when you look at that Snapchat picture of Abby, it's facing from south to north. No one is behind her. There is no one there. 6 minutes later, Bridgeman is encountering them. So where did he come from? Is he the world's fastest bridge runner and he covered that entire distance in 6 minutes? Or did he come from the south end of the bridge, which would have been behind Libby? We always postulated, and we did so in the podcast, that the guy from the bridge came from that south end, probably up the hill, and they had an initial encounter with them, walked past them, turned back around, and then
came back around. That's fascinating.
And that could be very, very possible. Could be very possible. Absolutely. Why did no one see Richard Allen? Because he was leaving as the girls arrived. Exactly. He'd already gone. He'd already gone. That's why no one saw his car. No one saw Black Ford Focus. And no one saw a little guy, because the first thing you would notice, if you were asked to describe Rick Allen, the first thing you would notice, you know, above and beyond like a white male, you'd notice his height, because he's unusually small for a man. You say he was a really small guy. You would absolutely remember a 5'4" man. You would. You would. You so would. You so would. You'd be like, yeah, it was a middle-aged white guy, really small, really short for a guy. Really short for a guy. That's what you would describe Rick Allen as. Middle-aged, white male, really short for a guy. You wouldn't, no, I'm sorry. No one mentioned his height. Actually, one of the girls, who was, I think, 5'7", said that he was taller than her. So taller than 5'7". No. No one saw Richard Allen. None of those witnesses saw Richard Allen. Betsy Blair, who saw someone on the bridge around 2, just before 2, saw a young male in his 20s with dark poofy hair. That's not Rick Allen. Whoever that wasn't Rick Allen. So did he come from the south side, or did he come from Ron Logan's property? Right, up the hill, and then you can do, who was it? I think it was Rick Snail who did it in 4 minutes. Like, did the bridge, like, from north side to south side in 4 minutes. So Delphi After Dark. But he was walking fairly quickly, like a proper brisk walk. But anyway, I think there's one more bit that I'll talk about. Let's talk about the Reese letters. Let's talk about the Reese letters here. I want to start this bit. Maybe about there.
Were they being told what to do?
Maybe a little bit behind. About there.
You can get over to the Weber property and some of the other homes without going down from the bridge at all.
So Dan, as we look at that fact in light of the video, and the one thing that struck me about the video is when they're both off the bridge, there's like this time period before we hear guys down the hill, and they're not going anywhere. If at that moment, and I don't know if they knew that there was a gun or if they believed there was a gun, but if at that moment they had taken off in the other direction, it would have been going towards a known safe place versus the other side, which is sort of unknown, which begs the question, why didn't they go home? And
why didn't they run? Because if they carried on going, if they'd run, as I said, there's 2 properties that you can see, not really close, but you can see from that area where they were, the top of that bridge where they were. You can see those 2 properties. And further down the road, so if you just keep walking, you come to Abby's house. So why wouldn't you run? Why wouldn't you try to get to safety? I don't understand that. And again, that tells me that they were not scared of BG.
do you believe they were still on their own adventure? Were they being told what to do? Were they afraid to go to safety?
I think at the point where the video starts, they're being told what to do. The original plan.
What's that? Michelle, do you remember the news clip where a fast blink of BG popped up on bridge behind Abby? This reminds me of that. BG looks like floating. No, I don't remember that. I don't remember that at all. I think... I really don't remember that.
Was to be picked up by their father in a little bit, and that would have meant they would have gone back the way they came if they had stuck to their plan. One thing we learned about, and that we really see clearly in the video, is Libby talking about the path. You know, this is where the path is. This is where we have to go down the hill. And this is before we hear the words down the hill, which again leads me to believe there was some sort of encounter, some sort of discussion before this video started, because she's right before he says, guys, down the hill, she's talking about getting down the hill. Why? Why is?
Yeah, before they're instructed to go down the hill, Libby's talking about going down the hill. So there's only two reasons that could possibly have happened. One, they were going that way anyway. That's the way they were going anyway. Or they'd already met BG, and BG was actually walking with them. Although he was behind them, he was with them. And that's why they weren't aware of him, well, or scared of him, because they knew who he was. Those are the only two reasons why Libby will be talking about going down the hill before BG abducted them down the hill. Is it any wonder why the prosecution didn't want this video out? Is there any wonder? Because it absolutely demolishes the state's theory of Rick Allen abducting them, because there was no abduction. At the point where this video ends, there's no abduction. The girls were going that way anyway. Yes, they get murdered, so that there has to be some altercation and something after Libby turns this video off. So I'll circle back to what I said at the beginning. Why did she turn the video off? Was it accidentally she turned it off? Possibly. But if she was really scared, she would be... If she was really scared, she'd have got a shot of BG's face as he was coming towards them. You wouldn't be, bravely taking a video, and absolutely she would be brave if she was, because she was nervous. Absolutely, it's a brave thing to do. However, if you were really scared, you'd make sure you got his face on. But well, I think they knew him. I think they knew him. They weren't frozen in fear. They weren't frozen in fear, buddy. There's no fear in Libby's voice whatsoever. None whatsoever. And she can see him coming right up, and there's no fear in her voice at all. None.
They're clearly thinking about it. They were clearly planning on it. I don't believe that they were doing that under their own power and will.
Yeah, and what you just did you see the light bulb over my head? Yeah, that you just caused it? now that is making so much sense to me at this moment. I want to put this up. Now, this is another interesting twist in all of this, because we know that Richard Allen, his defense team, are filing an appeal, and they want a new trial, and there's some evidence that they want to get in front of a new jury. These are handwritten notes from Sergeant Hansard's interview with a man named Reese Davis on June 21st, 2017. This is Ron Logan. Remember, they were found on his property. Ronald Logan's alleged confession. Talking about knowing one of their dads. One of them wanted to turn around, grabbed the youngest's shoulder. It's okay. Oldest freaked out. Animals, walked with them, willing to go check out the horses. He told them he had rabbits in a barn. Walked through the trail in the woods. The oldest was paranoid, didn't want to go. The youngest wanted to see the horses. Pulled a box cutter out, slit the oldest one, hit an artery. Youngest was scared, took little girl with him for a while, never said where. So, Barbara, what does this alleged confession of Ron Logan mean to you, and in light of everything else that we are discussing here?
Well, at the time he had horses, he had rabbits, and he was quite proud of all of his animals. His animals were all very special to him. This is a picture of Ron Logan that I received from a friend of mine who visited his property in 2020, and she took these images, and she went into his barn. This is his yard. He had pygmy goats, and in his barn he had special varieties of chickens and rabbits that he raised for food. But he talked about his rabbits a lot in my conversations with him over the months, and it was interesting. I had some statement analysis done on many of the things he told me, and there was some attention given by the analysts of his statements about his rabbits and the way that he described them, because he talked about them having polka dots and being red and white spotted, descriptions of rabbits that you don't typically hear. But he really loved those rabbits a lot, even though he did raise them for food. It
can't love them that much if you're going to eat them. I'm sorry. They're either little fluffy bunnies that are your pets and you cuddle, or you raise them for food. You can't have both. I'm sorry.
When I heard that
this is a vegan.
Casey's story was that Ron had offered to take the girls to look at the rabbits, that kind of sent a chill up my spine.
Unless you wait for him to die of old age and then you eat him. And then I'll let you off.
quite honestly, because that was an offer he had made to me as well, and I've heard him make to other people too, to come and look at his rabbits.
So he invited Barbara to go and look at his rabbits. Listen, those letters, that confession to Reese Davis, it doesn't sound so wild, does it? It really doesn't sound wild, does it?
He was very proud of all of his animals.
Wow. A lot of this stuff is just, right? Okay, Dan Samatovich, Deviant is the true crime pod.
All right, so they do talk a little bit more, but I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it on that little bombshell that, look, listen. How about this? How about this for a theory, which fits everything? All right, once again, I'm going to have to stop sharing and reshare my entire screen every time I want Google Earth. All right. So what fits with everything is this. What fits with everything we know is this. Let's just imagine that Bridge Guy is Ron Logan. Okay. So we know from the FBI search warrant of Ron Logan's property that is dated the 17th of March, 2017, that Ron Logan's phone was in the vicinity of the bridge at 2:09. Okay. The girls were here at 2:14. So we know at 2:13, when the video started, BG is about here. He's around that final platform. All right. And Libby's standing here. All right. And then Abby jumps off here. And Libby, at this point, at 2:14, Libby's already talking about going down the hill before BG even says, guys, down the hill. What if BG, in the vicinity of the bridge at 2:09, sees them, all right, so catches up with them. He may have been at the south side already, and he's kind of circled back, turned back, and come back. Whatever. All right. So he says, guys, down the hill, and he walks down the hill with them. And this all fits with Libby's phone data also. So they get to, I would say, starting to go up this hill. So they've walked with Ron Logan, with BG, down the hill, across there, across the creek. So it's only shallow at that sandbar there. It's only shallow. All right. And then they walk up this part here. And then we have a little bump of two floors climbed. So maybe they get up maybe about 20 feet up this hill. And Libby decides she doesn't want to go. Libby decides that, she's getting a bit nervous here. She don't really like this guy. She's getting nervous. Abby still wants to go because she wants to see the rabbits and the horses. We know that Abby loves animals. So Abby carries on wanting to go. Libby, however, has already decided she's not going to go. She's not going to go. And maybe has started to walk back and ends up in this area here. And that's when Ron Logan gets aggressive and he stabs her in the neck because he's angry. He's an angry man. And then Libby dies right there. He doesn't know what to do with Libby, and he certainly doesn't know what to do with Abby. So he takes Abby and he brings her back later. Decides that he has to kill her because she's going to tell on him. He has to kill her. He doesn't want to kill her, but he has to kill her. That's why her death was kinder. Now, what I don't understand about this scenario is why was Libby naked? Could it be that Ron Logan was a dirty perv? Or is it that he thought that his blood was on her clothes because she punched him in the nose? So he thought that her blood, his blood might be on her clothes. So he dumped her clothes in the creek to wash the blood off. I don't know. Those are the things that fit. It fits Libby's phone data, more or less. It also fits with the Reese Davis letter. And it appears to fit with the BG video. I don't know. Like I said, theorizing is fine, but you have to stick with the facts we know. You've got to, your theory can only work if it complies with the facts that we know. And we know that Libby's phone data gets them across this creek, and it would also fit with why Libby's phone didn't move after 2:32. However, Ron Logan came back because the FBI search warrant, again dated March 17th, 2017, states that Ron Logan's phone was in the vicinity of the crime scene, so was in this area, at 7:56 and at 10:16. Why was Ron Logan, or at least his phone, in the vicinity of the crime scene at 7:56 and then again at 10:16 in the PM of February 13th? There were search parties out looking for these girls, but Ron Logan didn't join the search parties. Why? Because he had to stay in and look after his fish that he got from the aquarium shop. So if Ron Logan's inside the whole night, can't help with the searches because he has to look after his fish, why on earth is his phone in the vicinity of the crime scene at 2 occasions in that evening? So he's lying. Ron Logan is lying. Why is Ron Logan lying? We'll never know because Ron Logan's dead. Investigators missed their chance with Ron Logan. Why? Because Nick McClellan looked after him. How do we know Nick McClellan looked after him? Well, Ron Logan was in Newcastle Correctional Facility for probation violation. And Nick McClellan became the Carroll County prosecutor in December of 2017. 1 month later, Ron Logan was released. Ron Logan was released from Newcastle Correctional Facility and he could serve the rest of his sentence at home. Yeah. Okay. Is there any way Bridge Guy could have been edited into this video? Not according to the metadata report, no. There was no edit. There was no editing. The video starts at 2:13 and 50 some seconds and it lasts for 43 seconds and it's not been modified. So not according to the metadata report, no. Is it possible? Yes. However, you'd have to mess about with the metadata in a way that is way more sophisticated than most people could handle. So I really don't think so. I think it's highly unlikely that that video has been edited in any way. So there you have it. I think I never thought that Ron Logan was BG, and I didn't think. I thought he might know more. I thought he might know some stuff, but I didn't pin him as the murderer. I didn't pin him as the guy. But after that Reese letter, things do start to make sense a little bit. And it's certainly much more of a solid theory than the Rick Allen state sanctioned theory that got Rick Allen convicted and imprisoned for 130 years. The state's theory does not work. Does not work with its own analysis of Libby's phone. And it doesn't work with the surveillance video from the Sandefur's house, because we know Brad Webber's van only passes by this area here at 2:44. So again, the camera's down here, sees it in the distance, passing by at 2:44. So it's going to take it, what, a couple of minutes. So passes under the Morning High Bridge at 2:45, 2:46. Gets home. By the time he gets in his house, it's just enough time for his phone to ping at his property at 2:50. So he gets home, picks up his phone, interacts with his phone in some way, it pings off the tower. And that's all consistent. So the van did not pass by under here at 2:25 to 2:30 when it needed to for Rick Allen to have been scared by it, to cross the creek and then kill them. Because you've got to remember that they've got to be across the creek and dead by 2:32, because that's when Libby's phone stops. Is there a back road around Webber's? No. You can't get in a vehicle. Because there's a hill. So you'd struggle. There's no back way. So you can't come from this direction, like from this property, because it's all too hilly. I guess you could travel along there, but you won't be able to drive it. Maybe an ATV would. But essentially, no. There's no back way. There's a track, so you could walk it. You could ride it on a horse, so you could ride it on an ATV, but I don't think you get a car down there. There's another route out of Webber's. I remember a video of him saying he only used it occasionally. I don't know how. You'd have to go this way, I'm guessing. So there's a track. This track will take you, keep going, to here. But again, I don't think like a van or maybe like a really heavy duty vehicle would get down there. It wouldn't be easy drive anyway. Difficult to tell. Actually, there is a little track. So yeah, there is a track. But not an easy one. Do we know where the burn pit is? No. I'm guessing on Ron Logan's property somewhere. But was that ever investigated? No. I very much doubt it. I mean, Ron Logan had a fair bit of land. So Ron Logan's land is this area. So this is his field. And then I don't know where the property line is. Maybe there. So all that is Ron Logan's. All this. So anywhere on his property. There's a track from the creek up to Ron Logan's property. There absolutely is. You look, from the crime scene up this hill, it's only a couple of minutes up this hill from the crime scene. Ron Logan is pictured by journalists in the days after the murders, walking up this hill back to his property. Like he was taking journalists to the crime scene. He was happy to show people around all over his property, show them the crime scene. He was enjoying his 15 minutes of fame. So yeah, you just walk up the hill and he's right there to his house. So it will be very easy for Ron Logan to have been just hanging around, just wandering around, sees Abby and Libby, didn't mean to kill him, but got mad and ended up stabbing Libby because she punched him. She hit him in the nose, according to the Reese Davis letter. And we know he has a violent temper. So stabs her in the neck, goes a bit overkill because her neck's a mess. And then she's dead and he doesn't know what to do with her. Moves her a bit, but can't move her enough to hide her body. Why there's those weird sticks, though, that doesn't fit with the Ron Logan theory. Like the weird sticks. I still have it. I still have it that they're not to cover up. They're not to cover up the bodies. There's a weird thing going on there. So the Ron Logan theory doesn't fit with the runes at the crime scene. Could be a second person. Yeah. Doesn't fit with the Elvis Fields confession, because we've also got to remember that Elvis Fields confessed. So I'd be very interested in knowing whether Elvis Fields and Ron Logan knew each other, or some of the other Odinist people knew Ron Logan, or whether Ron Logan himself was interested in, Norse paganry of some kind. We don't know. We don't know. So the Ron Logan theory that's come from Reese Davis doesn't fit the Odin theory, but I do think it's compelling. I do think it's very compelling, and it does fit with the data that we know. It does. Oh yeah, Patrick Westfall lives in Delphi. He did, absolutely. The other side of Delphi to this, but a very interesting 7-minute drive away from the bridge. All right, guys, I'm going to go. I've been on here quite a while, so I'm going to go now. Oh, I've not been on as long as I thought. 2 hours 19, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. I think Ron was too tall to be BG. I don't know. We're circling right back to the to the beginning of the live stream. Like, we don't know how tall BG actually was. Yeah, Ron Logan is 6 foot. So was BG as tall as 6 foot? Don't know. Same body type. Same body type. I don't know what Cassie's chewing. What are you chewing? What are you chewing? She won't open her mouth. Obviously something she shouldn't have. Please check out the Bell Mountain Twins case. A Bell Mountain Twins case. I don't know that case. I will check it out. Bell Mountain Twins. Interesting. BG's height is known from new footage. No, again, as I said right at the beginning of this live stream, I don't think there's any really reliable way to find BG's height. There's too many variables we don't know. You could get an estimate of it, but I don't think you could get an accurate, really accurate measure of his height. So, good night, Lavender. It's only 4 p.m. for me, so it's a little bit early for me. Need a recreation at the spot with the same phone. Yeah, but we don't know how far away Libby actually was from the end of the bridge. We don't know how high she was holding up the phone. There's too many unknowns. There's too many unknowns. Abby and Libby were both 5'4". Hi, Aaron. Aaron. New here. Oh, it's 9 a.m. Monday for you. Okay. 9 a.m. Monday? Where on earth are you? 9 a.m. Oh, so you're right over West Coast. Well, it's 4 p.m. for me. So, not going to bed yet for another maybe like 9 hours. It's impossible. I don't know whether BG was... all I can say is that no one saw Richard Allen. No one saw Richard Allen because no one said that they saw a small guy. No one said that they saw someone who was really small for a man. And that's something that you would say about a man who was only 5'4". Like, it's not unusually small for a female, but it's small for a male. It's small for a male. So you'd say, oh yeah, I saw this middle-aged white guy. Oh, and by the way, he was really short for a guy. And no one saw his car, absolutely. Why? Because he'd already left. By the time that it became, important to find witnesses and to, track people, Richard Allen had already left. It's why his phone isn't at the scene either. His phone isn't at the scene because he'd already left by the time the girls were abducted. And you know what time the girls got there? So they'd have worked it from the time that the girls got there. That's why Nick McClelland didn't want the geofencing to be included in the trial. That's why he got that banned. Because Richard Allen's phone isn't in the geofence. Why is Richard Allen's phone not in the geofence? Because he wasn't there at the time that the girls were abducted. So, no, Richard Allen didn't do this. I'm sorry for those who are absolutely adamant that he did. He didn't. There's no evidence. There's nothing that puts him at the scene. Nothing at all that puts him at the scene. Nothing that supports the state's theory of him being there and committing the murders. Even their own data that they produced doesn't fit their theory. And quite conveniently, they forgot that they have a video of Brad Webber's van arriving home. So, How the jury convicted him beyond a reasonable doubt, I'll never know. All right, I really am going to go right now. So thank you all for joining me. We got some donations at the beginning of the live. So we had Krista, we had Kimberly, Purple Air Jane, Philosopher Stoned, who all gifted memberships. We got Mike, we got Canoni's Baloney. And Web of Deceit Untangled. So thank you. Thank you for that. Oh, and we got a new member as well, Michelle. What a great name. Welcome for joining. Welcome to the Secret Agents Club. Welcome, welcome. All right. Okay. Thank you all. Thanks as always to the mods. Yeah, free Richard Allen. Absolutely. Free him. Let him go. Poor guy, honestly. Poor guy. Dear God, 130 years. Insane. Absolutely insane. All right. Thanks, mods. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. I am gone.